It's another September, and with that comes yet another iPhone launch, and with that comes yet another night where I'm up until 4:30 in my bed watching a stream. Maybe one day I'll be in the spaceship, at least once. It was a pretty average September event. We got a new Apple Watch, we got some new AirPods, and of course we got the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro. But honestly, it was a bit weird. It just felt kind of off. Some of the cinematography and editing was just a bit un-Apple-like, and a lot of the products that we come to expect to launch on a September event just got minor revisions. I was so ready to plonk down a pre-order for some new AirPods Pro, only to find out the only thing it got was some new health features added to the second gen. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with the Apple Watch. We did in fact get the redesign that has been long rumored for the Apple Watch Series 10 this year, and here it is. Sorry, no, that is the Series 9. Hang on, here is the Series 10 redesign. So you'll notice that it wasn't really a complete redesign. It was definitely did not meet the hype that was constantly being pushed in the media, but honestly it's fine. It's a lot thinner, and the screen takes up even more of the watch face than it has before, so not a bad trade-off. And we don't lose compatibility with all the other wristbands like people said would happen, which is really nice. The fact that they made the case even slimmer and the screen even bigger, considering that the Apple Watch is already impressively tiny, is, you know, pretty good. They brought a few new colorways like the new titanium styles that replaced the old stainless steel, and guys, they brought back jet black. I never thought I'd see the day. Part of the redesign is a new speaker system which now allows you to play music and other media out loud from your watch. Okay, like I'm glad it's there. Like the fact that Apple made it and pushed it in the keynote means there's some sort of demand for this, but I don't know who wants that? I can't personally imagine ever using it. There's a few small edge use cases I can imagine, like maybe you want to show a song to someone on your cellular Apple Watch and your phone's dead and you just play it through the, like, maybe? Actually no, that's the only use case I can think of. I can't think of anything else. I don't see that being a huge selling point, basically. What might be a selling point is the all-new sleep apnea nope. That's on the Series 9 and Ultra 2. But jokes aside, it's obviously better to have that feature that was announced today on more watches than less, because the whole point is like, you don't know you have sleep apnea and you want to see if you've got it, so locking that to a new gen product would be pretty stupid. I'm glad they've done it this way. The new detection looks at the accelerometer data while you're sleeping to measure for breathing disturbances, and if those patterns line up with the probably hundreds of thousands of people they studied with sleep apnea to make this happen, it'll alert you. It'll give you some nice reports that you can send off to a doctor to have a talk about with them, and you know, you might find out you have sleep apnea, so that's pretty cool. Not the sleep apnea, just knowing that you have it. I don't know how like other content creators are going to show this off, like the people who actually get the watches, but it's great that it's here, and I'm not going to complain about more health features. The health is a big part of Apple Watch. They obviously flexed how many lives it saved. No real downside to having it. One thing I would like to note is that one of the next products I'm getting in for review, got my sizing kit right here, the Rincon Gen 2 also has sleep apnea detection. And so while I'm not going to buy a Series 10 Apple Watch, nor do I have sleep apnea, nor do I know anyone who does, it'll be really interesting to see the accuracy between those two devices, so hopefully someone else does that. Especially considering that one is a ring. The final feature that came to the Series 10 this year was the depth sensing and the water temperature sensors from the Apple Watch Ultra, so I guess anything's a dive computer now. Apple mentioned like snorkeling as the main use case for these features on the Apple Watch Series 10, which obviously makes a lot of sense. If you just dabble in a little snorkel every time you go, you know, maybe you go overseas and you try it, you probably don't want to drop $1,000 on an Apple Watch Ultra just to see how deep you are. So having it on the standard Apple Watch that more people are going to buy, pretty cool. Now, Apple had some huge new announcements for Apple Watch Ultra. It comes in black. They did it. Feat of engineering. There's also a new titanium Milanese loop for the Apple Watch Ultra, and as a Milanese loop user myself, when I'm not rocking the knockoff Alpine loop band I bought off Amazon for 20 bucks, it looks pretty nice. The buckle seems a bit more annoying than the magnetic attachment on the standard Milanese loop, but it's designed for scuba diving, so considering that standard Milanese loop just kind of starts coming loose when you look at it funny, yeah, I understand why they changed it. They've also got new Hermes accessories designed for the Ultra, but I don't make $5 million a year, so I kind of tuned out when they started talking about it. There's a new exclusive watch face, but is it worth $500? Let me check actually, hold up. I'm sure editing me loves this right now. Oh, there's also new colors for the standard Milanese loop. I just saw those. Oh! Chad, is that worth $450 US? I was right when I said 500. Oh, you can finance it though, so that's all good. If you finance an Apple Watch band, just, you deserve to have like negative credit score. AirPods only got one new piece of hardware this September, those being the revision to the base model AirPods 3, which are now the AirPods 4. Honestly, they've got some really nice features that might entice people who are looking at just the basic second gens to move up to the fourth gens, especially compared to the feature set of the third gens. There wasn't really much there, apart from maybe spatial audio. There's yet another redesign for the case, making it even smaller, and a new design for the buds that supposedly make them fit better in the ear. I've never had a problem with the non-rubber tip AirPods, so I can't like comment on whether that will help me, but it might help you, so that's pretty cool. The main thing here was backporting those features from the AirPods Pro to the mid-range 4th gen. So think like the speaker in the case for Find My, nod to Siri, voice isolation, and active noise cancellation. How? I genuinely have no idea how they're planning on doing ANC in earbuds that don't have a seal. The last time I saw a company try that was the Samsung Beans, and it was terrible. It'll be really interesting to see how well it works here. Alongside ANC, you'll also get the standard transparency and adaptive noise. Adaptive I get, but I don't understand the point of transparency on open ear earbuds. I feel like it would just drain your battery, but to each their own. And again, as much as I would love to test the ANC on these, even if I had the $130, I would need another $50 because the version with ANC is a separate model that's $180. All right, now it's time for AirPods Max. Now, I'm sure you are just like me. It's been years since they've launched these. Surely there's some crazy new features.
We're excited to introduce beautiful new colors along with USB-C.
Huh? That's it. New colors and USB-C. I mean, I guess we got USB-C. That's kind of the main thing I wanted. Oh, and they're still $549 US. Thank you, Apple. Like, okay, I get they're busy with Apple Intelligence, but come on. AirPods Pro 2nd Gen got some new health features today. If I get one more email. AirPods Pro 2nd Gen got some new health features today, but that's really it. There wasn't any hardware revisions for the AirPods Pro. This is the hearing protection, which reduces loud sounds in the environment and kind of keeps the detail but makes it quieter so you don't kill your ears when you're walking past a construction site. You can just take a hearing test in Apple Health now, sure. Oh, and you can use them as hearing aids. You can use them as clinical grade over-the-counter hearing aids. Apple just does things. They just do. They don't have to. Who's using AirPods as hearing? I mean, sure. I love how the Apple ecosystem has exploded from, guys, you can send text from your computer to, yeah, take your hearing test on your iPhone in Apple Health and use your AirPods as hearing aids. Do y'all hear how, like, insane that sounds? And that was it for AirPods. Obviously, I'm not gonna, like, complain about health features. I can laugh at them, but it's a little bit disappointing we didn't get some more. I was really hoping for some AirPods Max revisions. All right, time for the big news. It's the big boys, the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro. I'm gonna go out on a whim here. Maybe a hot take, I don't know, I haven't opened Twitter. I think the base model iPhone 16 was the better reveal here. Like, the 16 Pro is obviously the better phone, but I think the 16 just had so much more put into it, which if you are wondering, you're lucky because I'm gonna do it right now. I'll get into the Pro later, but the 16 got a lot of the Pro features from last year, like the action button and full spatial caption, not just videos, but photos as well, and support for Apple Intelligence. You'll also notice they finally found where the blue ink was. There's a new camera layout that kind of brings back the old layout from the iPhone 11 and 12, and that enables the spatial video and photo capture on the base model phone. And alongside the new camera is the camera control, or the capture button that was rumored and also leaked by case manufacturers like 3 days ago. This gives you immediate access to the camera as well as quick access to controls for things like zoom, exposure, focus, field of depth, etc.
I meant depth of field. Cut me some slack, it's been a long day.
It's some really cool stuff, and as a heavy mobile photographer, I could absolutely get some use out of this. The camera control button also enables the exclusive to iPhone 16 visual intelligence, but I'll get into that later. The ultrawide also now has autofocus, which I didn't know that it didn't have. And the macro features from the Pro lineup are now available on the iPhone 16. There's obviously a new system on a chip here, the A18, so they've really solidified on that A18 and A18 Pro and continued. But that also now enables all of those 15 Pro exclusive console games to just run on the base model iPhone 16. They also said that the chip could rival high-end desktops, but I don't know about that one.
Challenging even high-end desktop PCs.
Unfortunately, as is the story with most iPhone launches, ProMotion did not make it to the base phone, and honestly, I'm considering giving up even thinking about it. In the video space on the base phone, there's some new wind reduction stuff that seems to work pretty well, and obviously you get the benefits of the capture button to adjust zoom and things like that, but that's really about all for the base iPhone. This iPhone is a really solid choice, especially for the average user. There's nothing here where, you know, my mum would think, oh, I have to go and buy a Pro iPhone because most of your most common features are just in the base one which is they've nailed this phone this year. But that's not to say the Pro has no exclusive features. So I'm gonna get straight into this for the Pros. Massive screen, 6.3 inches on the standard iPhone 16 Pro and 6.9 inches on the 16 Pro Max. 7-inch screen. The phablet era is so back. There's the A18 Pro SoC, which we all kind of expected here, and it's the same story as the A18 but with some better CPU performance, an extra GPU core, and that's about it. Obviously, all of the features from the 16, like the camera control and the wind reduction, is here, but 16 Pro goes even more hardcore on the photo and video features. First, for photographers, you know that little 48 megapixel Pro RAW? You know how there's a little loading button? Not anymore. Zero shutter lag in 48 megapixel Pro RAW photos. There's also a new 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, and the 5x telephoto from the 15 Pro Max is now on the standard 16 Pro as well. So yeah, all great changes that are actually meant for pros. Oh, but I'm not done. If I'm being real, I've never actually used photographic styles, but if you do, you might appreciate that there's a new 2nd gen photographic styles. There's a ton of new styles that you can adjust and correct within the Photos app and in the camera, and you can even make these adjustments after the photo has been shot, including just changing the entire style altogether. This might actually get people to use photographic styles. Having it baked into the photo permanently is a pretty big turnoff, and especially considering that you have to adjust it as you're taking the photo, which just isn't ideal for run and gun scenarios. So now people can just kind of look at how they match a photo without permanently changing it and without needing to mess around with the camera on site. I've been using like portraits, for example, after the next gen portrait came out, not just taking portraits, but turning photos into portraits. So I imagine that more people will begin to use photographic styles as they find out you can just add them in later. But of course, it wouldn't be an iPhone camera without some absolutely insane video features. Did someone say 4K at 120 FPS slow motion? Oh, is that not enough? Would you like to decimate every external SSD you have? Sure, okay, 4K 120 FPS ProRes log. But seriously, like, this is insane and also really cool. Assuming you're filming a project in 24 FPS standard cinematic frame rate at 4K, you're getting a 5 times like slowdown without any drop in quality compared to if you shot at 1080p 120. There's a new mic array of 4 studio quality mics in the back of the phone now that can help enable spatial audio capture for videos. Finally! This is something that I've wanted for so long, and it honestly might convince me to just buy the phone. I will take out a personal loan, I don't care. I can't justify this. I gotta hope that like the Ray-Ban audio capture can hold me over, because that's like probably the best I've got. Until Apple starts emailing me to give me phones, that'd be pretty sick. The new microphones alongside the A18 Pro also have some wild new audio mixing features. You can now completely change how an audio mix sounds after you've finished taking a video, like isolating the voices to only have the ones that are in frame, emulating like a standard studio mix, and doing the same for a cinematic mix, which puts the vocals in frame in front of you and everything else kind of around you, which is really sick. That same new audio processing pipeline that powers the audio mixing and the wind reduction also comes into play with voice memos and allows you to record multiple layers inside of one audio track. It'll play out whatever you had recorded before through the speakers, and you can just go over it. It'll use that audio processing to kind of remove the echo from the speaker and just have your voice. So Apple had an example of, you know, you've recorded a guitar line in voice memos and you're doing vocals over the top of it. This is going to be really cool stuff, especially for musicians. And to top it off, the Weeknd. Sure, because it's not a modern iPhone launch without an artist who happens to need a music video. I also mentioned visual intelligence earlier. I'm going to quickly go into that now. You guys know Google Lens? Yeah, it's basically that, but the Apple way, so it's private and it's on device and it's cool and it's Siri and it's good. You can hold down the camera control button instead of pressing it once as if you were activating Siri, and that brings up the visual intelligence capture screen. You can take a photo of anything like a restaurant, a landmark, a dog, a plant, and it'll give you information about it. You can also use it to search Google, for example, for products, exactly like Google Lens, and you can also send off more advanced queries to ChatGPT for things like, I don't know, homework. Really cool stuff here, and I wish it was on iPhone 15 Pro. And that's really it. The event kinda didn't meet the expectations that were set by a lot of those rumor media organizations, but it was still alright. We got some cool features in the end, and we got some really nice base model iPhone 16 hardware, and, you know, the 16 Pro is pretty good as well. Hopefully, we're back to bigger launches after Apple finishes grinding out Apple Intelligence and getting that out there, and they don't make it the primary focus of every engineer in the company. Also, they didn't say AI this event, just generative models. Welcome back, old Apple. I've missed you. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, if you want to help me get to the big donut spaceship thing in Cupertino next year, hit that subscribe button, maybe even turn on notifications so you get notified every time I upload a video. If you want more of me, you can follow over on Instagram, Threads, and everything else with the links on screen and in the description below. If you want another video, you can click over here to check out my latest upload, or you can click over here to check out my review of Apple Intelligence, because, you know, I just talked about it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.